The 6.7 kilometer long gravel pass is located on the R354 between Sutherland and Middelpos in the Northern Cape. It's a fairly minor pass with an altitude variance of only 82 meters and an average gradient of 1 in 82, which makes it a very easy drive, but be especially careful of corrugations, which can become quite severe towards the southern side once the gradients flatten out next to the riverbank. The pass summits at an altitude of 1,251 meters, and it does sometimes get snowier in winter. The steepest section is just before the summit, with a gradient of 1 in 14. The name Oupoort simply means old path and relates back to the original sheep trekking routes between Sutherland and Calvinia. The pass starts at its northern end at this concreted culvert. Close to this northern start, there's a small gravel road leading away to the left, which leads to the farm which bears the same name as the Poort. The R354 then climbs steeply towards a high point after a long section of flat terrain. Ahead there are two distinct mountains visible. These are Brandekralskop on the left and Oukampsekop on the right. The road heads for the neck between these two peaks. As the 1,251 meter high summit is crested at the 1.8 kilometer point, a wide and sweeping view of the valley ahead is presented. Soon after cresting the summit, you'll need to slow down to 30 kilometers per hour to cross a cattle grid. There's a deep excavation immediately after the cattle grid on the left, which is guarded by a steel railing. The road surface is generally fairly good along this descent, and as is the case with most passes, the presence of corrugations increases as the gradient decreases. At the 4.2 kilometer point there's an intersection which heads off into the northeast towards Williston. Ignore this and continue straight on. At the 4.5 kilometer mark the road bends towards the right and enters a short sharp S-bend with a concrete bottomed river crossing thrown in for good measure. Slow right down for this one as the entry and exit angles are quite sharp. The pass ends at the 6.7 kilometer mark adjacent to the R354. Continue for a further 60 kilometers to reach Sutherland.